All right, welcome to the first video podcast of the Ohio Valley Sports Blog. I'm BJ Anderson, Ian McConville, Cody Anderson. I'm going to start talking some college football. I'll talk about WVU first, playing their rival now since Pitt's off the schedule, Maryland. And what do you think is going to happen this weekend?
West Virginia, you know what you're going to get from them offensively. They move the ball pretty well. Defensively is still the question mark for that team. We don't know consistently game-based how they're going to play. They played fantastically against Oklahoma. Unfortunately, they weren't able to come out on top on that game. But that's still the biggest question mark. Until they can get that fixed, I just don't see how they can remain competitive on a national stage.
Right. I mean, with Dana Holgers, you know you're going to score 70 points a game, but you might get up 71. I think Maryland this weekend, with WVU's inexperience on offense, as explosive as they can be at times, I think Maryland will come out on top. It's going to be a rough for the Mountaineers.
Yeah, I think the question is, too, is the quarterback play, because they really don't have a true starter yet. Unlike last year and years past where they had Geno Smith and Pat White that had that defined guy. This year they really don't, and that's where the inconsistencies are coming from.
Right. So we'll get to the Buckeyes next, playing the Florida A&M Rattlers. To be pretty quick and easy. The most interesting thing I think this weekend is going to be the return of Braxton Miller. See if he's going to be healthy for Big Ten play. Other than that, I mean, it's just a matter of playing 60 minutes and seeing how bad it can get.
Yeah, I'd like to see if Braxton Miller isn't 100% healthy. They just go to the veteran Kenny Guyton, who's proven that he can step up in this situation and handle the team. Because, I mean, you don't want to put Braxton Miller on when it's just Florida A&M. You want to make against Michigan, Wisconsin, Purdue, teams like that.
I mean, an interesting thing to think about, I'm sure this is something that Urban Meyer is going to be dealing with as we head into the game, is whether or not it'd be more valuable for his team to just go ahead and start Kenny Guyton tomorrow against Florida A&M, have him ready for a primetime game next week against Wisconsin in your home stadium, your conference opener, and give Braxton Miller the extra rest for a week, and then bring him back into the fold for a big, serious, critical game.
I think it'd be worth it just to have him run a couple of series just to get the rust off. You don't want the RG3 syndrome where you're out there, you throw a couple picks, just getting your feet wet. I mean, against Wisconsin, which is probably your toughest competition in the Big Ten, you want to be firing on all cylinders. So I'd like to see him run a couple of series. But even other than that, I mean, Kenny Guyton, he's probably the most qualified backup in the nation. So, and especially playing Florida A&M, I just expect him to roll. Any other marquee top 25 matchups this weekend?
Top 25 matchups. Let's see. You've got Notre Dame playing Michigan State this weekend. Notre Dame coming off of a loss to Michigan last week, or 2 weeks ago, obviously.
Yeah.
They were able to go into West Lafayette and beat Purdue, even though the score was a little close. Notre Dame really kind of controlled that game for most of the game. It'd be interesting to see. Michigan State's kind of rolling along right now. They're flying under the radar for team. It's going to be interesting to see if Notre Dame is able to really exert their will on another team, like they were able to somewhat do in Purdue last week.
I mean, you just know Notre Dame's missing Everett Golson. Tommy Rees is an okay quarterback, but you just don't have that big play potential like you did with Everett Golson. I mean, he can run 90 yards. He can hit someone for 99-yard pass. I mean, with Tommy Rees, you know you're going to get a manageable game. But, I mean, going up against Michigan State, Mark Antony always has the Spartans ready. I think they're going to off the upset this weekend.
Yeah, pretty much Tommy Rees is pretty much the Alex Smith of college quarterbacks. He's not going to win you the game. He's not going to lose you the game. But you're right, they are missing that playmaker at offense, and hopefully maybe they'll have somebody to step up this week.
That's a big game. Pac-12. Arizona State playing Stanford. Arizona State got that very, very controversial win.
And we'll leave it at that.
last week against Wisconsin. Can Arizona State capitalize on that momentum and pull off what would still, even though they're both top 25 teams, would still be a pretty major upset to go and beat Stanford?
I don't see that happening. Stanford's too good. They're too well coached. It'll be a blowout, I think.
Yeah, I just don't. With such a disciplined, smart, and well-coached team, I don't see Arizona State pulling off the upset. They're lucky that the refs botched the Wisconsin game last week. I mean, I don't know how good Wisconsin's field goal kicker is, but I can have a shot because the refs botched the end of the game. I just feel like they're not talented enough to compete with Stanford.
I'd also like to see how Wisconsin responds now that they're playing with this chip on their shoulder when they come into Columbus next week. That should be a good matchup. Them being already gone, so let's see how they respond as well.
Big matchup in the SEC. Auburn playing LSU. Prime time under the lights in that Valley. Auburn and LSU, they always seem to go as the last team to beat LSU in August and September was Auburn back in 2006. So, is there any way Auburn, who is undefeated and has been playing rather impressively, is there any way they go into the Valley and knock off LSU?
I think it's definitely possible. I think that last year was an exception, not the rule for Auburn. I know SEC football. I know people are quick to fire the gun down there. I know a 4-8 season going 8 in the SEC is unacceptable. But I mean, you got to remember, G. Chiswick was 2 years removed from winning the national championship. I just feel like they'll be competitive with LSU, but in the end, with the big game experience, I think LSU pulled it out of them indefinitely.
Yeah, Les Miles doesn't really lose too often at home, and he'll have his boys ready to play, and don't take Auburn lightly. I think they'll win probably by 14 or 15 points.
That pretty much sums up all the games in college football this weekend. We're going to go ahead and move to the NFL. Big game for the Steelers this weekend. 0-2 going into the Sunday night game against the Bears. Haven't looked very impressive the last couple of weeks. They've been in games mostly because of their defense. Did they pull off a win this week behind?
Man, that offense is just unwatchable at times, isn't it? It's going to be interesting to see what Pittsburgh does to change the problems that they've had on offense. Believe me, there's been a lot of problems on offense. Inability to run the ball, sufficient time to pocket, to get any passes off. When he does get passes off, they're really not effective routes. Really, it's going to be a challenge, I think, against a very, very still good Bears defense, who has been able to really control a lot of the games. They were really able to control Cincinnati's offense in that opening week. They were really able to control games throughout throughout all three of the games so far. So it'll be a big question mark whether or not Pittsburgh is able to finally get the ball rolling. I don't see it happen. I just think there's enough there offensively for me to say with confidence that Pittsburgh is going to be able to beat Chicago.
Well, the first 2 games, Pittsburgh's defense has kept them in the games. I feel like that's going to be the trend all year. It's going to be the offense can overcome the running game, Marquise Pouncey. Hopefully, with the return of Mo this week, Roethlisberger will look a little bit more comfortable. But for me, the key this week is turnovers for the defense. I mean, they went from one of the best teams before 2011 in turnovers, and in the first 2 games of this season and all last season, it feels like they have gotten no turnovers. And I feel like with Jay Cutler, as talented as he is, being turnover prone, he might just be able to dodge one this week. I think the offense is still going to struggle. I feel like none of the players believe in the Haley system, and that's half the battle. But I feel like there'll be a managed game. I feel like the defense will keep them in there, and I feel like the defense will make one big turnover, and they'll pull out a low score, close game at home, basically saved their season.
You know, I don't think I see what you're talking about. For all the reasons you just said about the offensive line, the no running back at all. I mean, no real receiving core. You have Antonio Brown and Emmanuel Sanders. You don't have that guy, that go-to guy like they had in Hines Ward a couple of years ago. I mean,
even in a guy like Mike Wallace,
yeah,
would be a very key part of that offense. If you're still there, he's obviously in Miami now, and he's starting to really get comfortable in that system.
right. I mean, he was the guy that, hey, you're down a touchdown. Next thing you know, there's a 45-yard pass, and it's all tied up. So you're missing the big ability. Maybe with Le'Veon Bell coming back this week, you might get something. But I mean, I just don't see how the Steelers can get a really good Bears team. And a lot of people, you know, forget the Bears went 10-6 last year. They had a good year. So I think Pittsburgh loses by 17, maybe 20. I mean, I really think the Steelers fans need to realize that this isn't our year. And we're going to be rebuilding most of the season.
I just feel like this team will, with Heath Miller coming back, I feel like that's Roethlisberger's big security blanket. I feel like he's a threat in the middle of the field. I don't expect the offense to really click, but I don't expect the Bears offense to click either. It'll be a close game, I think, but
yeah, but you got to look at the weapons that the Bears have. They have Matt Forte, who's an all-purpose guy. They have Michael Bush, who they get near the goal line. He's the reliable guy, unlike Isaac Redman, who's our quote-unquote short yardage back. They have a good receiving core led by Ben Marshall and Martellus Bennett. They have the playmakers that the Steelers don't.
okay.
Another game out of the AFC North. Browns and Vikings in Minnesota. Both these teams went into this game week 2. They're both 0-2. The Browns, again, much like the Steelers, defense has kept them in both of the ball games, especially last week against Baltimore. They had a real opportunity to win that game. They shut out the first half against the Ravens. Obviously, the Ravens offense isn't what it was last season on their way to the Super Bowl, but when you are ineffective on offense and offensively you don't capitalize on opportunities to win games, that is when frustration starts to build. And that's exactly what has happened with the Browns in the first 2 weeks of this season. Their run defense has been absolutely phenomenal in the first couple of weeks. Now, obviously, they've got a bigger challenge than most teams will ever face in an entire season, trying to put on a similar type of performance against Adrian Peterson. And you know what Adrian Peterson is going to do. He'll probably get 100 yards in defense, and it's good. He's probably going to score a touchdown or 2. But can the Browns slow down Minnesota's rushing game enough to force Christian Ponder to try and beat them? Because the Browns' pass defense really hasn't been that great since Joe Hayden and TJ Ward. They really don't have anybody who can cover and shut down receivers. So, the Browns finally fix enough on offense to capitalize on opportunities and win a game this week.
I don't think it'll be this week, Ian. I think for the reason you just said, I think Adrian Peterson will be too much for the Browns. I mean, you're right about Christian Ponder. He's not going to go on a game-winning drive. He's not going to make throws. He's pretty much a game manager at this point. They really don't have any receiving threats at all outside of Cordell Patterson. And he really hasn't even made that big of an impact just yet. But, I mean, I think the big question is right, will somebody on the Browns offense step up and be the playmaker? And with them trading Richardson away, I just don't know who the savior of the offense is going to be, because you still have Josh Gordon who's suspended.
He's coming back this week.
And he is coming back
this week.
Okay, so you have Josh Gordon coming back, though. I mean, will he be a little rusty for playing in a couple weeks? I mean, you have that really nice tight end in Cameron.
Jordan Cameron's been phenomenal.
He's going to be a playmaker. But I mean, you don't have the offensive line doesn't give Wheaton time, so give it to these guys. Plus, you still have Brandon Wheaton, who is just past his prime. I mean, he should have been maybe trying to do this 10 years ago, I think.
It's not Brandon Wheaton gets started this week. It's Brian Hoyer, the former Steeler, Patriot, kid, Michigan State grad. I mean, with starting your third string quarterback, I mean, skipping right over Jason Campbell, trading away Trent Richardson. I know it's not what the Browns fans want, and as a Pirates fan, I completely sympathize with them. But no matter how much the organization denies, they're tanking this season. They're going to lose this week. They'll pick up a couple wins because, I mean, any team can beat any other team on any given Sunday. And the guys that are there are still giving 110%. They're just not talented enough to compete with any other NFL teams. They're going to tank this season. They're trying to get Johnny Football, try and make him a savior. And especially this week with Adrian Peterson, I just feel like he's going to run all over the Browns. I feel like the Vikings are going to dominate the time of possession. I just don't feel like it'll be a blowout because the Vikings don't put up a lot of points. But the Browns offense with a new running back, new quarterback, their top receiver just coming off suspension, who would be rusty with the normal quarterback, and then throw the third string in there. I just don't feel like it's going to be enough. It's going to be another long season in Cleveland.
Now, just one fun fact before I move on to this. Since the Browns returned in 1999, Brian Hoyer will be the 19th different starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. You want to talk about how to finally get the Browns on a winning track? There's a starting point. You have to get stability at the quarterback position. You have to get stability at the head coaching position.
You also have to have the right guy at the quarterback position. I mean, you just gotta hope that this management team is finally the one that's right. I mean, after Mike Holmgren and everyone else who's gone through that front office.
After 13 years of learning family,
right. You just have to hope that this management team actually cares, actually wants to put a winner on the field, because the Cleveland fans deserve it. I mean, anyone that's going to pack a stadium on Sunday like them and watch a team lose and lose and lose, they got to be one of the best fan bases in football to still even want to go to games, want to watch them. I mean, I hope it's not. I hope it's not that long until they turn it around. But this isn't the season. This is
right. So let's remember, folks. This week, Brendan Whedon will be out with a finger injury, and third string quarterback Brian Hoyer will start. When you turn your TV on this weekend, one word Whedon is that's where he's at.
He didn't trade it.
No, because
he's not playing minor league baseball either.
Nobody would want him. Let's be clear. Nobody would trade him. Let's move on, guys. We have a huge series this weekend in Major League Baseball. Of course, I'm talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds. Any thoughts? Open it up, BJ.
You just gotta hope the Pirates. I mean, coming up to losing 3-4 to the Padres, you just gotta hope that's a fluke. I mean, the Padres, for whatever reason, no matter who's on the field for either team, absolutely have owned the Pirates at PNC Park. The Pirates have, excluding this week, they have a 10-40 all-time record against the Padres at PNC Park. So, you just gotta hope that was a fluke. They were playing really well, swept the Rangers,
took 3-4
from the Cubs. You just gotta hope that this weekend, at home against the Reds, they put a little separation between those two teams. It would be bad enough to lose the division, but then to have to play the Reds at Great American Ballpark in the wild card game, just not something you want.
And I think everybody needs to stop freaking out about this quote-unquote another mini collapse. I mean, there's 9 games left in the season, and Washington would pretty much have to go 9-0, and we'd have to lose 6 of 9 to not make the playoffs. Let's be clear, the Pirates will be in the playoffs this year. It's just what seeding or where are we going to be? Are we going to win the division, or are we going to be in that wild card game? And this will be a huge step this weekend. If we could take 2 or 3, possibly sweep the Reds. I mean, the Cardinals, they just don't seem to lose nowadays.
Especially with their series this weekend. They're in Milwaukee this weekend for 3 games with the Brewers, who put up too much of a fight, I think, against the
No.
Cardinals. How great their pitching is, their offense is hitting on all cylinders right now. It's going to be difficult. So the Pirates really, really need to at least get 2 out of 3. Stay a game or a game and a half back. Hope Milwaukee can steal 1 or 2 from St. Louis, and because Milwaukee's not going to take all from the Cardinals. It's just not going to happen. You got to hope that they're going to take one, maybe steal 2, but the Pirates need to handle their own business at home against the Reds, and you need to sell out that ballpark. I'm telling you.
AJ Burnett wants people in the stands.
Well, and I think with Francisco Liriano and AJ Burnett, you're 1A and 1B going the first 2 games. The offense needs to show up tonight and tomorrow. With Jeff Luck on Sunday, it's a wild card. I mean, he might go out there, pitch 7 scoreless. He might go out there and pitch 3 2/3 of an inning, walk 12 batters, give up 10 earned runs. Even when he was performing earlier in the year, his walk rate was way too high. He had one of the highest hand rates in baseball. You knew that it wasn't gonna. You knew it wasn't gonna last.
I think you're exactly right, BJ. I think Friday and Saturday night hopefully you'll get a good pitching performance from Liriano and AJ. But I mean, that's going to be the key to this week. I think this is where you talk about 2 or 3 was sweet. If you can get a 7 innings, one run like you did last week against Chicago, that's great. But if you get 5 or 6 innings, 4 runs against the Padres, where he gave up a 3-run homer to the Padres of all people, I mean, if he can control the Padres and PNC Park, he's going to have a tough time with that Red Sox lineup.
Yeah, and with Bruce having that short right field, you don't want to block people and have to face them over that lineup, especially with Votto too. I mean, 2 left-handed hitters, a 311-foot right field line. You can't walk people in front of those 2. You have to take care of business. I think it'll be interesting to see Starling coming back. His wife gave birth to the first child yesterday. He missed the game, but Jose Taga was great in his absence. He's just that wild card for the Pittsburgh offense. I mean, he has been phenomenal this season. A 280 hitter, double-digit home runs, close to 40 stolen bases. I mean, and that's what the Pirates need this weekend. They need him to get on base. They need him to steal bases. They need easy RBI opportunities against the Reds pitching because they don't walk people. They don't give up a lot of hits. They're a good pitching team, and you need easy RBI opportunities, and Starling right there can provide this.
Yeah, and I think also the acquisition that Huntington made in late August for Bird and Morneau really needs. This is a series they really need to step up in because this is why we brought them there. I mean, you can't fault Marlon Bird for anything, but he's been absolutely fire since joining the Pirates. But Justin Morneau he's gotten hits with us and he's contributed, but we really need 9 home runs we saw in August and the RBI because, I mean, for the middle of the lineup guy, for just getting hits, you might as well put in Gabby Sanchez or
Well, you got to think, too, though, manager Clint Hurdle, probably one of the best motivational managers in baseball, but he has terrible in-game management. There's been too many times where Justin Morneau, who should only be batting against right-handed pitching at this point in his career, has faced a lefty in a key situation with Gabby Sanchez, who has over 900 OPS against left-handed pitching on the bench. Gabby Sanchez needs to be facing left-handed pitching and place Justin Morneau in a late-game situation.
Absolutely. All right. So let's get the predictions. Ian, what do you think's going to happen this weekend? Who wins the series?
I just don't have enough confidence in the Pittsburgh offense to say that they're going to be able to take 2. I have Cincinnati taking 2 in this series, and I have the Pirates getting into the playoffs in the second wild card spot. I have to go play Cincinnati in that pivotal 1-game playoff.
Okay. BJ?
I think, like Ian said, it will all depend on the offense. I mean, they'll show up one game, they'll get 1 hit and score no runs. I mean, the next game they'll have 10 runs. I just good team at home this year. The last series, it being a key series against a divisional opponent, I feel like they take 2-3. I feel like AD Burnett and Francisco Liriano deliver. I feel like Jeff Locke just gets bombed on Sunday, and hopefully that'll be the last we see of him this season.
Okay. Okay, see, I'm going to go the opposite of you, BJ. I think Liriano tonight pitches a gem. They win game one. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say AJ Burnett gets beat a little bit. He gets up 5 runs on Saturday. Pirates offense can't overcome. And I'm looking for Jeff Locke to have a big start on Sunday and take the Purple game 3. Pirates win 2-3.
Another big game. That this AL wild card. This whole AL wild card picture is just unbelievable. If you haven't been watching this, wake up and watch this. This is insane.
This is what you wanted when you had a second wild card. I mean, there are 5 teams.
There are 5 teams within 2 games of the wild card.
It's been absolutely phenomenal to watch. For us personally, the Indians have a big series against the Astros this weekend.
They took a very pivotal game 1 in that series.
It was a 4-game set.
Yeah, it's a 4-game set. They took a very key game 1. They almost didn't, but they were able to pull out a walk-off win in later innings. The Indians are still a big question mark team for me. Their pitching at the top is very, very good. Justin Masterson's been outstanding this year. Zach McAllister has really proven that he can be an effective starter. 3, 4, and 5 of that starting rotation still kind of scares me. The middle bullpen, as you know, is going to hold situations, but when you get to the closing spot, when it's time to finish games out, that's where you start to get worried. Perez gives everybody a heart attack every time he steps out on the mound. You never know what you're going to get from him. Tonight, there will be a night where he looks absolutely calm. He will just go 1, 2, 3 through batters and be done with it. And there are nights where he will give up hit after hit after hit, and he'll walk guys, and he'll throw ineffective pitches. Now, if you have problems, and you're slipping into a possible playoff berth, there is no more favorable schedule that you can get than what the Indians have right now. 3 remaining games at home against the Astros. Then they travel to Chicago to take on the White Sox, who haven't lost to much, if at all, this season. Dominated White Sox. Then they close out the season with 3 games in Minnesota. You cannot ask for a much better setup down the road with being only 1 game back of the last wild card spot. You can't ask for a much better situation than Terry Francona and the Indians.
No, they showed a graphic the other day on TV. They showed all the teams in the remaining schedule. Everyone else played like a 500 schedule, a high 400 schedule. The Indians had a 398 winning percentage. Their remaining opponents. If they want to win this if they want to get in the playoffs, they probably need to take 3 or 4, if not sweep the Astros. If you want to be a playoff team, you have to beat that team. And like you said, I mean, they have the most favorable schedule. I feel like their offense, which is phenomenal on the season, Michael Burns at the top, Nick Swisher, Carlos Santana. I feel like Drew Stubbs. I feel like that'll carry them into the playoffs against such a weak schedule. I don't think that they're going to take the first wild card. I think they're going to play the Rays, which is another favorable thing because the Rays have absolutely no fan base, so it'll basically be like a neutral site. But I feel like they're going to take the second wild card because of the poor schedule they have. Your thoughts, Katie?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Indians end up getting that second wild card. I think the Rangers are just slipping right now, playing bad baseball, so it will be the Rays and Indians in the first wild card spot. I mean, there's really nothing really else to say. You guys have both of it. I mean, the Indians' weak schedule combined with they're actually playing pretty well right now, so I think they get in.
And another thing, think of it this way: this weekend you have Baltimore playing at Tampa Bay.
Yep.
You have Texas playing at Kansas City, who is also trying to slip into one of the last wild card spots. So both those teams who are above the Indians right now play very tough schedule right now. The Indians have a serious opportunity to slip into that last wild card spot and bring playoff baseball to Cleveland for the first time in a long, long time.
our podcast this week. Please be sure to join us next week as we'll talk more college football. We'll react to the Pirates Red series and the Indian series as well. And we'll see what the Steelers and Browns are doing. So join us next week.
All right, thanks for watching.